Hello, and a good Iowa afternoon to you. This is your host, Bleak here. Bleak Rides, this is my channel. I can't wait to share my experiences, my journey, and everything about my two-wheel life with you, the people tuning in. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe if this is the type of content for you. And if you really like it, make sure to push that like button. You can push it, you can throw it, you can twist the throttle on it, and ride right over it. Whatever makes you happy. We don't hold back here on Bleak Rides. So, without further ado, today I want to get into my top 10 reasons why, as a beginner, I ride a sport bike. Number 10 in the top 10 list is sport bikes go really fast. The power to weight ratio is out of control on these things. They're monsters. Modern sport bikes, sport naked bikes, or sport touring bikes have a wonderful power to weight ratio. They will speed up like a rocket, and most of them will get you later. Will stop on a dime. So it's definitely something to consider. They also come in every shape and size, from 300 to 600, 900, and up. Sport bikes, there's one for everybody, and I can't recommend them enough. Also, it's all I have. So, again, I can't recommend them enough. Reason number 9 is a simple one. Sport bikes stop really, really well. Like their name says, sport or racing, whatever your application. These bikes were built to go really fast and stop really well. As a beginner rider myself, I find the ability to stop very, very important, not only to my safety, but the safety of those around me. Everybody wants to have fun, but you want to stop when you need to. Sport bikes come standard equipped, most modern ones, with 2 great big discs up front, oversized calipers for the actual braking power, and a disc in rear just to be sure. Keep that in mind when you're out looking for a bike. If you're a beginner, these things stop wonderfully. So whether you're on a race replica or a sport naked like I ride, stopping is important, and you'll appreciate the ability to do so. Reason number 8 involves the height of the bike. If the bike's too tall for a short rider, it might feel unmanageable or unsafe. If the bike's too short for a tall rider, it might feel cramped or even claustrophobic. Getting the right height bike is important to how you feel and the comfort level you experience on the bike. Make sure to keep that in mind when you're picking out your new beginner bike. Reason number 7, because sport bikes look really, really cool. Whether you're on a sport naked bike, whether you're on an Italian Hypermotard, or an Aprilia, or a Kawasaki Z900 RS Cafe, just saying. Sport bikes look really cool. There's one out there for everybody, and everybody should be able to find one they can fall in love with as a beginner bike and make their own. That's the fun of this. You get to ride them, you get to modify them, you get to pick one that is you on 2 wheels. Reason number 6 involves cc size. Sport bikes come in 300s, 600s, 900s, 1100s, almost any size you can imagine. There's one out there with a displacement for everybody. No one should be afraid of a bike. What you should be afraid of is having fear of operating that bike. If you're unsure, or if you're nervous, more accidents can happen than if you're just on a little smaller, more manageable bike. Lots of people recommend starting out on 300s. Some people recommend starting out on a 400. I myself started out on an 800. Before we get into number 5 and the lower part of the list, I want to take a moment to talk about bike safety. I always wear a helmet. I don't always at GAT, but I do always wear a helmet. Sometimes I wear my vest, sometimes I wear my riding jacket. I happen to have boots just for riding, or I have a really nice pair of Vans that are real comfy in the hot days. These are all choices you as a rider will have to make. I make mine, you'll have to make yours, and we all have to live with them in the event of the terrible, horrible, worst thing that could happen, a crash. And in that moment, you're going to want more protection as opposed to less. So definitely keep in mind when you're out there riding, especially as a beginner, that gear doesn't make you look dorky. In fact, to me, it makes you look really, really cool. Wear your helmet, wear your gloves, and as the old saying goes, prepare for the slide, not for the ride. Definitely something to think about as a new or beginner rider. Reason number 5 involves your ability to stick to the pavement. Your tires. Tires can be as expensive or cheap as you want to get them. I myself ride a cheap $120 pair of piece sport bike tire. Couldn't even tell you what they are. I think they're Michelin's. Maybe you want to awaken your inner Marquez and run Pirellis. That's your choice. They can be as cheap or as expensive as you want to make them. That's tires in a nutshell. And on a sport bike, since you're not using multiple compounds, just something that sticks, they can be quite a bit cheaper than say some of your touring tires or race-ready, track-ready tires. Keep that in mind as a beginner getting ready to buy your first bike. You will have to replace them at some point. We all do. Coming in at number 4, we have your exhaust. Your exhaust will announce to the world, I'm here, or hey local law enforcement, come get me. I'm a sport bike about to street Rossi it up in a race against my buddy Marc Marquez. I personally run a Delkevic exhaust. It's not too loud, not too quiet. Definitely not stock, but certainly not Akaprovich, ear-piercing, deafening exhaust. My best friend likes to run a Yoshimiru. They're pretty quiet, pretty nice, with a sort of low grumble that he really likes and doesn't piss his neighbors off too much. When it comes to exhaust, the choice will be yours. There's many types out there. Pick one that really speaks to you, but maybe also doesn't piss off the neighbors. Your call, your exhaust, your bike. Item number 3 of why sport bikes are a great beginner bike. Everyone likes to tell the world who they are. Everyone likes to accessorize everything about them. I haven't met a person who didn't like a custom something this or that. Whether it be a keychain or a fender eliminator, whether it be your headlights, your taillights, LED conversions, your exhaust as we covered before, your tires, whatever it may be, there's an accessory or mod out there for everyone. And thanks to our fellows and friends at YouTube, we now have a video library of how to install, what to look out for, and what's going to be the best bang for your buck in the accessories or mods department for your specific application and for your specific bike. Do make sure that you're getting something specific to your bike. If you order something wrong, shipping and returns can be a hassle, and a lot of these sites, especially your bigger sites, have the option to create your own garage. Tell the computer what kind of bike you have, so it only shows you items available for your specific bike. Definitely something to keep in mind as you go on your journey into your new bike and making sure it's as custom as you are as a person. Number 2 on our list comes into price of your new bike. Price is always the limit. For some people it's cost prohibitive, for some people price is no object. If you have $100,000 to spend on one of Keanu Reeves' picturesque bikes from Arch, by all means, that's what you want to do. If you are a much more budget-minded person, you may want to look at something in the Kawasaki or Suzuki lineup. You can get bikes with big displacements starting at around $10,000, or your 300 or 400cc ultra-light bikes come in at $3,000 to $5,000. It's going to be your hobby. It's going to be your passion. Spend what you're comfortable with. Don't let people talk you into something you may not need. But do a little research and find out what it is you actually want. Don't be afraid, once you've completed your MSF, to go to a dealer and ask to ride several bikes. It's only through doing this that you'll find out what's going to be right for you. And maybe, once you spend a little time with a bike, put yourself in a position to haggle a little bit on the price. It's not always as listed. Sometimes there's room. But you have to know what you're looking at and what you're asking for to get it. Just stuff to keep in mind when you're out getting your new dream sport bike. Number 1 is ride what you have. It doesn't matter what I say. I'm a new rider myself. If you want to pick out an enduro or a dual sport, if you want to pick out a cruiser or a touring bike, the sky is the limit, the world is your oyster. Whatever you pick out will be perfect because it will be yours. Ideally, you don't start on a 15 or 1600 cc monster that you can't control and scares you right back off of riding from the gate. You want to start on something you can live with, something practical, but something you can also have fun with and enjoy, because really that's what it's about. Motorcycle culture has helped me greatly. It has helped me explore, get out of my shell, it has helped me meet new people, and get past some of my anxieties. The motorcycle culture I've found is a community of good people trying to do good things and do right by one another. We all look out for each other. We all watch out for the cagers on the roads with us. You'll be joining our ranks when you buy your new bike, and these are all things to consider. I'm just giving you my humble opinion. I've been riding for about a year and a half, and I started on a sport bike, so my frame of reference is pretty limited, but it's not worthless. You too will have your own experiences, and you too will have choices to make that involve what you choose to ride. I hope in this top 10 list I've highlighted some things that maybe you hadn't thought about, or definitely brought up some things you were thinking about and addressed them as best I could.